if you're an autistic person, if you like kids or not. Can you let me know? Maybe I can find like a way to put a poll or something, because I have a hypothesis. Not really a hypothesis. I have something that I want to share. I have an opinion. I decided that I don't want to have a specific film location because it's, I'm pretty sure that I have PDA, which I'll talk about later on. And so I see my location and I'm like, no, I'm not opening the door. I love kids. I love kids. Kids are dope. I've always thought kids were dope. And actually, me knowing that I like kids is a very important aspect of my identity, because it was the first thing that I knew for sure that I knew about myself. And I never understood why until I understood that I was autistic. Autistic people naturally don't communicate socially with human people the same as typical human people. However, we are typically better at communicating with children and with pets, or with animals. We're better at communicating with them than we are with older people our age. And often we're better at communicating with them than neurotypical people communicating with them, right? Stunning, makes sense. Kids get a lot of bad rep, okay? And I understand because they're awful most of the time. I feel like I know a lot of autistic people that don't like kids because they're loud, they're messy, they're sticky, they're smelly, they're a sensory nightmare, they're a responsibility nightmare, and I hate all that stuff. I'm not a sensory. I don't like that. Well, that's why I don't plan on having a baby. But the purpose of this video, the reason why I want to make this video specifically is because I find, just personally in my own life, that children are the only source of intellectual stimulation that I can really find. Intellectual stimulation with children, yeah, intellectual, I think, is the word that I want to say. Before I explain why, I want to explain a little bit about autistic intuition. Autistic intuition is like an idea that autistic people talk about because it's, an autistic thing that we share. Our intuition is like always right. I am calculating all of the scenarios in my head and I know what's going to happen. The patterns, there's so many patterns everywhere and you guys don't see the patterns. I see all the patterns and I feel like I predict the future. I know how a song that I've never heard is going to go. But I feel like that's kind of an easy one if you're just like musically inclined though. Especially now that I've learned a lot about trauma and childhood psychology and childhood trauma, I know what people are going to say. I know how someone's going to react. I know what's going to happen. I know how to solve the problem and I know how it's going to end. And it always happens how I think it is. I'm not trying to be like, I'm so cool, I know everything. It's nuts. Everything in my brain happens in real life. I know what's going on. With that, let me add 22 and a half years of mostly recognizing the patterns in people and them not recognizing the patterns themselves. Most of my conversations with adults are revelations to them. Listen, before I talk about this, I love my adults in my life. I love them so much. The adults in my life are fantastic, amazing. All my life, I've just felt smarter than them because it's almost like when I speak, I think I provide a lot of knowledge, especially to those in my life, which I'm happy about. That's something that I've always wanted to do. That's my main thing. But I also feel like, I've had to work so hard for this knowledge, I've had to go so much therapy for this, and I'm just telling you here on a Tuesday. You're welcome. But that's besides the point, because the main point is life gets pretty boring when you know everything. And people get pretty boring when they don't know everything. Holistic people, they do have much to offer. They do. I love to listen to them talk about the things that they like to do. They do sports and events and hobbies that I can learn about. I find that quite interesting. Holistic people teach me about little things that go on in life, which is fun and exciting, but it feels superficial to me. It feels like it's not deep enough for it to be what life is. I've talked to so many people that have said that they like intellectual, deep conversations. And when I get there, they are like, you are the smartest person I've ever known. You've changed my life. And I'm like, what? Because I told you that people have emotions?
Sorry folks, hate to interrupt you here. So we can all give a big shout out and round of applause to Skillshare for sponsoring today's video. I'll give it up to Skillshare. Skill sharing of skills. Paige, is that where you share skills? Yes, Yes, it is. You are so smart. Who taught you that? Did you learn that on Skillshare? They're known for offering thousands of creative classes like photography, journaling, painting, gardening sometimes. But did you know that Skillshare also offers hundreds of career-focused classes? That is right, they do. We know work is not a one-size-fits-all situation, but how does one create their own freelance business? Other people that aren't you know how, and they teach stuff on Skillshare about how to do it. Like Pricing Your Work and Negotiating with Clients by Jessie Ledoux. This is a very important one for my autistic because I need to know how those rules work. Who? Needing to be productive and managing time? Us? On this Christian Minecraft server? Couldn't be. If you are one of the first 1,000 people to click the link down below in the description, you actually will get Skillshare for 1 month for free. So go quick, click links down below, sign up, blah, blah, blah. Learn how to like do pottery and go to sleep earlier, and then do whatever you want after. I don't know, I'm not your mom. Love you though so much. Thanks for being here. Thank you, Skillshare, and you guys are so dope. Cheers, mate. Pardon the interruption. Back to your regular scheduled programming.
I mean, it's not boring all of the time. The people that are in my life are in my life because I thoroughly enjoy them, and we mutually benefit from our relationship. I love them very much. I think that they are very enjoyable people. They're my favorite people. That's why they're in my life. Do we get super deep about life and existence and autistic patterns and intuition? No, not really, because that's not where their brain is all the time. But that's where mine is. And you know who else's brains are kind of in that space? Kids. I remember a lot about my childhood. It used to annoy me and bother me so much when any adult would try to make it seem like the kid was dumb because it's a kid. Like, oh, they don't know anything, they're just a kid. Like, we can do that. They can't even, they're not even paying attention. They don't know anything. They don't know what's going on. It's a kid. I remember everything. I remember people saying that to me and being like, she doesn't know anything, she's a kid. And I'm like, I know everything that's going on. I know more than you do. That's so weird that you think I'm dumb. I've never been dumb. I don't think that kids are dumb. I came into this world anxious because I didn't know what to do. Most kids come into this world neutral because they don't even feel like they have to do anything and they can just exist however they need to, and that's fine for them. And so part of the existence of life is learning how to exist. And I think that every child has that innate drive to learn how to exist in this world. A child wants to communicate with their environment. Even the most timid children will be adventurous, will try new things, will push themselves because they have to. That's what we have to do to survive. Adults don't feel the need to do that. People think like, well, I know how to survive now. Like, this is how I survive. I'm not learning new stuff. I mean, people still learn new stuff here and there, but maybe not necessarily about how to exist. And maybe that's something as an autistic person I'm always thinking about, because so much of my life was not existing as myself anyway. And so now it's like super important to me that I find out what existing as myself looks like. And that's important to kids. And kids really value anyone who helps them build themselves in their own way. Kids find trust and support with an adult or someone who gives them the safety and freedom to be, or to learn to be themselves. I've been babysitting and stuff since I was like 10 years old, and I started volunteering at camps for kids when I was 11, running some camps, theater arts camps. I've seen a lot of kids grow up. They're no longer kids anymore. Probably hundreds and hundreds of children that are very important and have impacted my life greatly, and they don't even know that. And it's the most amazing thing when the same happens the other way. When a kid grows up and it's like, I was so influenced by you when I was little. That is something that is, it's just beyond words. I still keep in communication with some today. Well, not like still keep in communication. I mean, they were children, and then whenever they like got Instagram or something when they were 13, they're like, hi, Paige. I'm like, oh my God, hi. Like, you're old now, it's crazy. You're an old person. So what do I mean when I say I find kids intellectually stimulating? Picture this. I have a lot of things to say. I think that I know a good amount about life and people. I know I'm autistic, and so I don't know a lot of stuff, but I feel like a lot of the stuff that I don't know is like inadmissible. Like, who needs to learn about social rules? They shouldn't, like, they're stupid in the first place. People need to unlearn about that. When I talk to an adult and I say a thing, they go like, wow, that is life-changing and big and important. When I talk to a kid, they're like, cool. and keep going. And then we do that 50,000 more times. I do not feel like the smartest person in a room when I'm in a room full of children. When I'm in a room full of adults, I mean, people probably have more scholarly education than me, and that's all. Like, of course, people are smart, and that exists. I'm like, who can teach me something in this room? A room full of adults or a room full of children? Kids have outsmarted me and will continue to outsmart me forever. Adults, however, I can predict adults' behavior. I cannot predict a child's behavior. Children have me on my toes, and especially like a room full of 20 different individual children with different brains and different attention spans and different needs. The hoops I have to jump in my brain to try to keep the attention of a dance studio of 3-year-olds running around. It's almost like I need to try to find new patterns that aren't going to be replicated. I can find some patterns with kids, but they'll always change because the kid is always changing. You have no idea what's happening next. You have no idea who they're going to turn into or what they're going to learn next and what's that going to do to shape and influence them. Every interaction that you have with them is important. Yeah, my dancers may not remember the hour dance class that we had on a random Sunday in 20 years, but maybe they'll remember that I said something really special to them that they took with them for the rest of their lives. They may not remember that it was that Sunday in dance class, but maybe they're like, Miss Paige made me feel this way, and that's good. I find so much value in teaching dance because I am watching the same students progress throughout their life. I'm seeing the challenges that the students face, addressing them with the student, and watching them overcome it themselves. But also knowing that they wouldn't be there without you is really, they could do this without me. But I'm so happy that I get to be the one that influences them and gets them to the step. If you tell a kid to maybe try this way or do this, they're like, all right, that doesn't work for adults. Kids listen to you. Kids understand. They've all got their little personalities and their own way of doing things, but they're all trying to do the same thing. And that's a pattern that I can recognize. I love talking to kids because every time I feel like I leave the interaction knowing more about humanity, nature, life, or myself. So I know a lot of autistic people don't like children, but if you maybe do like children, and if you maybe have just gnarly autistic intuition and are bored by life and people, may I suggest hanging out with kids more? Is that weird to say? Don't like hang out with kids. Like, don't just like hang out with a kid. But I don't know, if you like kids, volunteer for more kid camps or like babysit sometime or just like coach a soccer team or something. I mean, earlier on I said it was kids and animals. So let me also say something else I find very intellectually stimulating is animals. My dog, Macy, she's so smart, and I love uncovering the little things that she can learn how to do. I wonder if I can train her to do this, and then I do, and she does, and she loves it. It's fantastic. It almost sounds like I'm trying to say, find a project to work on or something. I don't mean it like, I don't see a kid or a pet as a project or something to work on and build. I think that I find relationships with any person beneficial when there's mutual growth, when I influence them and they influence me. And I know that I influence people. I can't say that I have many people who influence me. I can say though that I have an idea that influences me, and that is the idea of learning. And I'd love to see it happen in action. So that's my convo today. I just wanted to let everyone know that I think kids are more intellectually stimulating than adults. That's just my opinion. You don't have to agree, you don't have to disagree, you don't even have to do anything. But if you wanted to, you could like this video and subscribe if you were into that kind of stuff. I'd be cool with it. My name is Paige Hennekam. I don't know what I'm doing. Love you though.
Thank you Skillshare for sponsoring today's video.
And I will talk to you later. Bye.
This is the end of the video song. This video's to tell you the video's done. If you're hearing this, it's because the video's done. Go watch another one. Boop boop. Have a good day. Love you so much. Bye.